You're mid-sentence, all eyes are on you, and your biggest fear has become your reality. You've forgotten what you're about to say. This is not a problem. And after 25 years of professional speaking, I am going to share with you exactly what you can do if this ever happens to you. Hey, I'm Laurie-Ann, and you are listening to Be in Demand. This is the podcast for corporate leaders and entrepreneurs who are ready to be seen, be heard, and be that obvious next choice for that next big opportunity. What if I forget what I'm going to say? I hear this question and this statement all the time. And there are two things that I want you to understand. It's about you and it's about them. Years ago, and this is a story that I share frequently because even after years and years of experience speaking, there are still times where I have forgotten what I was about to say. And I was speaking at a conference and I was the opening keynote speaker, and all eyes were on me. And I was just towards the end. And somebody had asked me a question because I was walking around the room and I answered this woman's question. And then I completely forgot what I was about to say, where I was in my presentation. And I didn't want to look behind me to see what slide was up there. So I very casually put my hand on my hip, microphone in hand, and I looked around the audience and then looked down at one person and said, "What was I talking about?" And the audience laughed. And when they laughed, they were thinking two things, one of two things. Either she's just like me, or they were thinking, I'm just like her. I forget what I'm about to say also. So that made me extremely relatable. And in that couple of seconds that I had my hand on my hip and I looked down at somebody and asked that question, I remembered where I was before I answered the question. Couple of things to understand here. Your audience doesn't know what you're about to say. They're not mind readers. So keep that in mind that if you forget to say something, they didn't know that you were planning on saying that. And the second thing is to trust yourself. I hear a lot of people like, what if I forget what I'm going to say? That's the other version of this question. And this really comes down to self-trust. Trust that you are going to say exactly what that audience needs, exactly what you planned on saying. And in the speaking world, we always say there are actually three speeches. There's the one that you planned on giving, there's the one that you actually gave, and then there's the one that you wish you had given. And all of those are combined and they're lessons. I think I've shared with you before that I always look back to move forward. What's my best speech? It's always my next one because I looked at what happened in that event, what happened in that presentation, whether it was in person, whether it was virtual, whether it was a private event, a public event. What did I like? What did I dislike? What do I wish had been different? And I take that information, those learning, those lessons, and I use that in a future, the next presentation. So I want to give you a couple of tips, a couple of strategies that I use. One, my slides are there to keep me on track. And my slides are not filled with words. Sometimes it is literally just a picture. And that picture reminds me about the story, either what I'm about to talk about or what I am talking about. As my mother always said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So use your slides wisely and strategically. They should be used to keep you on track so that you know exactly what you're going to be talking about, what you're planning on sharing, whether that's facts, numbers, stories, or metaphors. And the second strategy that I want to share with you is what can you do when you actually do forget what you're going to say next? And here's what I suggest to anybody, whether you're speaking in person or even virtually. Always have a glass of water nearby. If you forget what you're going to say, ask the audience a question. And it could be as simple as, what questions do you have right now? Let me pause to see if anybody has any questions about what we've discussed. And I'm just going to take a sip of water. And in those couple of seconds, you will remember. You'll either have time to look at your slide, maybe look at your outline if it's nearby, but that will give you a couple of seconds to get back on track. The audience will ask you some questions, and even if nobody does ask you any questions, don't even worry about it. You can simply address it. Okay, no questions right now. I'll continue. And you can pick up right where you left off. Now, if speaking is something that you have been wanting to improve or investigate a little bit more on how it can help in your career or your business, I want to encourage you to book a call. That link to book a call is down below. I am currently, because I know it's July and we're all in that summer vacation mode, I am currently signing on clients who want to begin work in the fall, whether that's writing a signature speech for your business or learning and embodying really good public speaking skills that helps you communicate with confidence and have that executive presence so that you become that obvious next choice. Again, that link is down below. And my second request today is, hey, if you would leave a 5-star review if you feel that it's worthy of it, because more reviews is how the podcast platforms actually share this with other people. So again, I keep this short, sweet, and to the point. And until next week, I want you to be in demand.